SSL VPN. So basically, when we spoke about IPsec, we mostly spoke about either site-to-site VPN or client-to-site VPN. Regardless of what type of connection you want to establish, whether you want to define encryption domain with another encryption domain as you would do in site-to-site type of thing, or you can do client-to-site type of thing in IPsec. But in SSL, the only type of VPN you can do is client-to-site VPN. So what it means, you can specify a remote host, remote PC, and connect it to your server, and connect it using SSL type of protocol. There is a big difference how it works. So in terms of checkpoint in the middle, so you have a server here, you have checkpoint in the middle, and unprotected network, internet, and your host user. So the way it works, checkpoint is kind of like man in the middle. It breaks the connection and establishes a secured SSL connection with the server. It verifies some kind of like SSL protocol. Excuse me, guys. We're gonna go in the deep detail explaining how it works in the next slide. But like, what you have to know for now is checkpoint acts like a man in the middle, and because of that, he's able to use all its blades, such as antivirus, antibot, IPS, whatever the blade you have enabled, you will be able to protect your traffic. And of course, now we have to go through. Oh yeah, here's a cool thing that I have here prepared for you, right? So it's now you have a secured internet. So basically, when a browser attempts to access a website that is secured by SSL, the browser and the web server establishes an SSL connection using a process called SSL handshake. Keep in mind that SSL handshake is invisible to the user and happens instantaneously, and that is actually a difference between SSL and IPsec, because in IPsec you need to have like an application installed on the PC. Without that, it wouldn't work. In SSL type of connection, you don't need that. Okay, let's go on. Essentially, 3 keys are used to set up the SSL connection: public, private, and session key. And basically, anything encrypted with the public key can be decrypted with the private one, and vice versa. All right. So the client tries to connect to the server. It sends out the SSL hello packet. Server accepts it and responds with the SSL certificate, which is actually the public key. Client validates it, validates the key. Usually it is the browser who does the job, but in our particular instance, it's going to be checkpoint as well, who is in the middle. Validates the public key with the SA, certificate authority. Client generates a symmetric key, the session key, using the information that we have received before, which is our public key of the server, and transmit it to the server. So the reason why it's doing the session key is basically to save up the resources, because symmetric keys are way more light. It's not using as much of CPU as asymmetric key. So basically that's why we use asymmetric key in the first place to set up SSL. For the rest of the connection, it's going to be symmetric key. It's going to be called session key. All right, so we transmit it to the server. Server tries to decrypt the symmetric key using its private key and sends back an acknowledgement encrypted with the session key. I know, guys, it's a bit confusing, but this is the way it works. Just if you want to get it done, just just go over that scheme. That's 100% correct. Just you have it all here. All right. And just for your information, I have already explained that when it comes to IPsec, the type of connection you can build is client to site. You have a client, maybe clients you want to define, and you define an encryption domain. You define the network where these clients will be able to connect. Or you can do site to site. You can define both encryption domains that will be able to connect to each other. And of course, I'm going to show you in great detail how to do that and how to limit certain hosts from, okay, you get the idea. It's a firewall. You can do whatever you want, except for, I don't know, maybe make you good tea. It doesn't matter. All right. So, and for SSL VPN, it can only do client to site. For it is actually called in checkpoint environment mobile access blade. You don't need to install an application to do that. It's clientless. You don't need a client. And for IPsec, you need a client, an application, whatever you want to call it, language difference. I guess that's it for now. For the theory, it's not that complicated to set it up. We're going to go through the process and yep, then you can do it on your own.